And we're going to get Rahul Shiv Shankar to ask those questions. Over to you, Rahul and Mr. Timabot.
Thank you so much, Anand. We are graced by the presence of His Eminence, Sri Ravi Shankar. Thank you, sir. The subject today is one which is close to your heart, what it means to be a Hindu. I've read a lot about what you've had to say. It's an important subject because our viewers and the audience here was witness to a quarrelsome session between Dr. Subramaniam Swamy and Mr. Prakash Raj, one of whom was distressed about the course that this great philosophy seems to be taking. So I want to begin first by asking Sri, what does it mean to be a Hindu?
See, to define Hinduism is the most difficult thing. You can rather go in a negation. Like one of our past president of this country, Dr. Radhakrishnan said, who is a Hindu is one who is not a Muslim, who is not a Christian, who is not a Jewish, who is not a Jain, is a Hindu. Hinduism is a way of life which has broad philosophy, which has open-mindedness, and open to new ideas. The core value of Hinduism is it's just a way of life from thousands of years. When there are about 1,000 and odd rishis, and each of them have given some, scriptures. When you put all this together, that becomes real Hindu way of life. So Hinduism does not have one book, but it has a whole library. That's what I would say.
Well, in Karnataka right now, there is also a debate raging because the Chief Minister and the Cabinet here decided to accord minority tag to the Lingayat community. Now, many people thought that that was an attempt to divide Hindus. How does Sri Ravi Shankar look upon this?
See, one is the philosophy and the fact that the Hinduism is a way of life of which even Lingayats do follow. The trinity of Hinduism is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. And how can not they follow this? They Om Namah Shivaya, they chant. That is part of Hinduism. You can say it's a branch of Hinduism, because Hinduism has many branches. But you cannot say this is not Hinduism at all. It may be from different political reason, or that really doesn't take it away from Hinduism. It doesn't make it a separate religion, I would say that.
They've cited a long tradition. I think Mr. Timappa Bhatt is better qualified than me to talk about
just
it.
Just now, you said that Hindutva is a way of life. In India, majority of the people are following Hinduism. But our way of life is different. It is a very vast country, diverse country, and their language is different, their lifestyle is different, way of life is different. In this scenario, is it possible to define Hindutva precisely?
That's why, as I said, Hinduism, like the Vedas do say, Ano Badra Kratavo Yentu Vishwatomuka. Let knowledge flows to us from every side. So there is Kabir Panthi there, which is only, say, from the 12th century, and there is Swaminarayan sect. A number of sects are there, but they all consider themselves as Hindus only. Because anyone living in this part of the world following an ancient stream of thoughts are called Hindus. When it comes to different ideologies, following a particular saint or following particular books, it is considered to be Hindu. This is what we call sampradayas. The Hinduism is full of many sampradayas, many sects. many philosophies and forms of thoughts. But if we start disowning from that, like Ramakrishna Mission, and Swami Vivekananda started Ramakrishna Mission. At a point, even Ramakrishna Mission said, we are minorities, we are not part of Hindus. But these arguments, maybe for some worldly gains, you may consider these things, but not in its basic tenets. As far as basic tenets are concerned, you cannot take it away from Hinduism.
So this move, which has turned into a bit of a controversy about giving the Lingayats minority tag, you believe this is, in some sense, a purely political move. It should not go ahead.
That's what it looks like to me, because basically, or for some specific benefits, becoming a minority, maybe they want to gain some benefits. That's a different question. But as far as the basic tenets are concerned, it cannot be removed from the Indian glory of thoughts that has been part of this culture and civilization.
So, just to be clear, Sri Ji, you believe that this move is cynical, it is an attempt to divide Hindus for political gain. That's what you mean.
Well, I'm not coming into that discourse. Why they did it, what they did it for, that is for them to decide. The saints are there from Lingayat community and Veerashaiva community. They should sit and they should debate what is it. But basically, when you see the basic tenets, whether they are moving away from the basic tenets of Hinduism, not. Because they are accepting the basic trinity of Hinduism, that's Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. They are accepting the Puranas, which are part of the Hindu, what we call as tradition. And all other puja vidhis, everything is of Hinduism. Well, if they have seen that there is some political benefit for them, or see, for example, one is, I would presume this, the right to education is there only for majority community. It doesn't apply to minority communities. And many institutions which run the colleges and many of the mutts, colleges and schools, they have certain shortcomings or restrictions, and they need some benefits. Probably to gain some benefits, this could be a way to, promote their philosophy, culture, civilization. In this sense, they might have thought of having it. But basically, I would say this is just whatever you call it, a temporary, artificial division that is being created for whatever purpose.
So you believe that the center, and the ball is right now in the center's court to take a decision on they should reject this demand. Do you think that the government at the center, the Modi government at the center, should reject this demand? Because the cabinet has gone ahead and said, yes, let's accord the Lingayats a minority tag. Do you think they should just reject it?
Well, to gain minority tag, in that sense, you get so many sects, they will all get minority tags. In this country is full of minorities. So there is no majority community as such at all. Then there's, see, in Kerala, if you see, there is Narayan Guru Sampradaya. They have their own set of tradition. If you see them, it's very similar to the Lingayat. They can also claim that we want minority status. As it is said, India is full of minorities. And so you can't put a majority tag on somebody and minority tag on someone else.
And this, those who are arguing for this separate Lingayat community, they are saying that Basava fought against Vedas and the disparities in the Hinduism and caste
that is
society.
Correct. Every reformer in the Hindu religion have fought against the caste system. Who has not fought? Ramanujacharya fought against it. Ramanujacharya fought against. Narayana Guru of Kerala, he fought against caste system. Kabir Das, Kabir Panthis, he fought against communism. communalism, he fought against caste system. So, if you see, even Mirabai, all the bhaktas in this country, they've always stood against any form of oppression, atrocities on any community. Of course, they all, even Adi Shankara said, Jati Neti Kula Gotra Durak. He fought against caste system. So every saint, every reformer has fought against caste system.
So, do you say that Basavanna is a reformer, not a founder of a separate religion?
No, he's both. He's a reformer and founder of a new philosophy. Basava philosophy. You see, when someone, a saint walks on this planet, he gives a philosophy, he'll be founder of this philosophy. He didn't make a separate religion as such, but he definitely gave a philosophy which was appreciated and accommodated by people all over, not just in Karnataka, even across the border.
Do you think we're in a dangerous precedent-setting stage? Because you said that where will this stop? This could happen with other denominations or philosophies within the Hindu fold. So do you think this is the beginning of a dangerous step that has been taken?
Let us see that. Suppose let us presume that you being a minority, you will not get any special status at all, no privileges. Would you want to be minority? If the privileges are given to majority, which side will you go? This question stands up. Here it is not about the philosophy we are fighting about. We are fighting for our privileges. That's it. So if the privileges are given to a different sect or in a different name tag, for majority community these privileges will be given, then we should see whether we want to remain a majority or minority.
Yeah, that is leading to appeasement, giving facilities and reservation and so many facilities on the basis of religion or caste. Then it will become appeasement. So you are saying that it should not be there in our...
whether economical, social or political or even spiritual, religious division is not healthy for our society. On one hand, you say caste system is bad, there is oppressor and the oppression, this should be done away with. We fight for it. On the other side, we give soaps for different communities to keep them separate and keep them fighting. So we need to have that equality of treatment of all citizens of India. Like citizens of India, they all get same treatment. They all get social justice. Of course, the downtrodden will be uplifted. Not on the basis of what religion they follow or where they come from, what religion, but on the basis of their economic conditions. And there are poor people almost in every community.
CCG, I have to ask you this. If tomorrow you are asked by the center to give a purely philosophical interpretation on this, will you tell them what you're telling us? Will you say that perhaps you should not indulge this?
See, I always say the same thing to everybody, whosoever it is. I won't say one thing to politics and one thing to other people, no. Whatever I feel is right, I speak my heart, and this is what I'm saying, that Hinduism is the way of life which embraces all forms of thoughts. As I said, and someone said, which is the book that Hindus follow? We follow the library, which contains all the philosophies of all the great men of this country.
Well, there has been a debate, and I referred to it a short while ago when we started. Prakash Raj said that there are some people who are trying to limit that diversity within Hinduism by trying to codify it. He singled out certain people, there's no point my repeating those names, but he was talking about Hindutva. Do you believe Hindutva limits the diversity of what really is a way of life by imposing certain preconditions?
See, when Hinduism is such an open platform, it doesn't put a restriction on thought process, on philosophies, on emerging of new ideas. It doesn't. That's the reason it doesn't make people fanatic here. I mean, it is an oxymoron to say Hindu fanatic. You can't be, either you can be fanatic or you can be Hindu. You can't be both.
I just want to ask you this. So it's very interesting because there are people who believe that you can be a Hindutva fanatic. Some people have even said that there is something called saffron terrorists. When people say that, what goes through your mind?
See, there are anti-social elements in almost all communities and all religions. I would request you to please don't put the religion tag on them. Don't put a religious tag on them. These are misplaced identities, misplaced value system for them. So narrow mindset is there in every religion. We need to fight against these elements, these fringe elements, who take to extremism in the name of religion. But as I see that in Hinduism, there is such a broad mindset and acceptability for, of course, the basic principles are there, ahimsa, honoring the nature, honoring women. These are all basic tenets of Hinduism. But whether everybody is following them is altogether a different question. Whether people are following the real tenets of Hinduism, we get into another question, debate on that.
Well, some people, and we've had a very unfortunate incident, some people who define themselves as rationalists have questioned, even renounced Hinduism, and have ended up in unfortunate circumstances. Do you condemn those people who took the ultimate step of murdering these individuals for their beliefs?
Absolutely. This is inhuman, and no dharma ever gives you sanction to be in such cruel criminal activity. No, because if someone opposes you, you have to welcome the opposition and listen to them. See, Hinduism, we even accepted Charvaka, who denied the existence of God. So this is one religion or one way of life which has even embraced atheism as part of it. So even atheism finds a place here. And how can someone be so cruel and take such steps? It must be much more than religion, but maybe some personal grudge or personal enmity. That's why I would say, do not see the criminal activity, criminal actions of few individuals as sanctioned by a great religion of Asia.
When these ideological clashes are, it is okay. Sangharsha is at ideological level, it is okay. But what we are seeing in India, these elections are fought on the basis of caste, religion. So when it is happening like that, the politics and religion are mixing up, and because of that we are seeing a lot of violence on the basis of religion, caste clashes, all this happening. So what is the remedy for that?
You see, this sort of reactions do happen. One time, the Hindus felt such low self-esteem that people felt so ashamed to even call themselves as Hindus. I know in America and other places, Hinduism was ridiculed to that extent. Even in classrooms, schoolrooms, 4 kids were invited and made them sit, and the caste system was taken to beat up the Hindus. And so people felt so bad, low self-esteem. To counter this, the Hindu pride started. Not just in India, I'm talking about in America. The youth stood up there and said, no, we are going to say, I'm not going to, if my name is Krishna, I'm not going to call myself Christopher, I'm going to say Krishna. So this, and they were even trying to put their last name also. Someone would put their last name. I am Shastri, or I am Gowda, I am so and so. So that pride is, I feel this trend of pride in religion is a makeover or a trend. It's a momentary trend to pass over that low trend of not being respected for who you are. But these things, are part of the social structure and political structure. They come and go. But what I'm saying is the four pillars of democracy, that is faith-based religion, justice system, media, and the government. They all have to have their distance. Only then a roof can go on that. That is democracy.
Well, I'm not going to keep you from a large number of people who would want to ask you some questions today, Sri Ji. And therefore, if there are people here in the audience, I can't quite see you, who are raising their hands, who have questions for Sri Ji. I think there's a gentleman there who's just raised his hand in the white shirt. Could you please stand up and state your name?
Hello, my name is Venkatesh.
A little louder, please.
Yeah, my name is Venkatesh and I'm a mango man from Bangalore. Now, a few questions. Most of the Hindus in India are feeling betrayed by BJP because they have not done anything, whether it is Article 370, Ram Mandir, or most of the issues, which they were expecting in 2014. Would you like to offer some comments on these?
Well, I have no comment. I'm keeping myself clear of politics.
Okay.
Any more questions, please?
Guruji, your great initiative in Ram Mandir debate was appreciated by almost all the right-thinking people. But at least some people tried to twist and all. So how do you see as a person
These are part of the process. When you take on something big, you get some hurdles on the way, but they are part of it, part of the whole process.
Do you see any solution emerging?
I have offered a solution, and it's up for the people to come forward and accept it or reject it.
I think the lady up front.
Good afternoon, Sri Ji. My question is that a lot of the time our Hindu sages come under attack from various sources, and they're not protected because they don't have any rules, to protect them. If there is a sort of a committee which protects our sages from this kind of attack from various sources, some of which are concocted, many of the time they are fabricated, can such a committee be made, and can all of you unite to be one?
This is a long tradition. It has not happened now. It's happening from the time of Lord Buddha, Adi Shankara, even Basavana. Our great Basavana also had many such critics and people who attacked him. So saints are not bothered about it. They don't worry about it. And they don't try to protect. They have a faith that the truth will always triumph. And God is there to protect them. So there is no need of people trying to protect. But Rajashray is needed for any knowledge or wisdom to flourish or grow. Just for example, yoga. Yoga is nothing new to this country. It has been there from 5,000, 10,000 years. But when the government takes some interest to promote it, 2 billion people on the planet today are doing yoga. Because it gets some credibility, a status, an acceptability in society where it is mainly geopolitical.
Pranams Guruji, I'm Raja Nambiar. My question is that our tradition is great, but the way we are preserving it, the condition of the temples, cleanliness, and why the government wants to control only Hindu temples. And the most important thing is that we should have spiritual leaders like you should be having some say over on the government.
Well, there are many ideas, many things to improve in this country, and of course, religious endowment and temples are one of such issue. It's not just only temple, for all religious bodies, whether it is mosque, church or temples, we need a proper set. And who will do what is a big question. Yes, I agree, we can have a body for the Hindu temples, like they have Waqf board for the Islam, and there is SGPC is a very good model. For the Sikhs, they have a body, but no such body is there for the Hindu religion. It's a good idea. I think it should come up. Yeah.
Shri ji, before few months, you and many Islamic scholars come up and try to solve the issue of Babri Masjid. And all of a sudden, that issue became a huge booming in the social media. But after some time, it decreases, and now there is no voice of it. What do you want to comment of it?
As I said, these are part of the process. They come in waves, but truth will always win. And I'm sure, I'm very confident. So far, any project I've taken, I've succeeded. I'm hopeful of succeeding in this too.
Yeah.
My colleague.
Well,
has a question for you.
Yeah, I have two questions, if I may. First question is, this is a debate that we did, and it hurt me that we had to do that debate, because there were people who had a problem with Om Shanti Shanti being chanted as prayers, with Om Sehna Vavatu, Sehno Bhunaktu, Sehaviryam Karvavahe, and they said this is trying to impose Hinduism, as is with Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirmaya Gamaya. So, how do you explain to people that just because it's in Sanskrit, it doesn't mean that I'm going to convert you into a Hindu? Is this a ground for debate?
I think any rational and intelligent person will not oppose this. If they are opposing it, it is for capturing some audience and taking some advantage politically or otherwise. Otherwise, opposing for such as secular prayers doesn't really mean much. You can speak in any language. If you're saying, God lead me towards light in English, or if you say Asatoma Sadgamaya, how does it matter? And it's good that we at least preserve some of our ancient language and culture and tradition in this country, which people accept everywhere.
This is this whole mentality that if it is in Sanskrit, it's about pushing Hinduism. That's where it originates. Is that fair?
That is, I don't think it's intelligent thing to do, because world over people are using it now. If you go to America, in New York, there are so many clubs in which they go learn chanting. Not that they have all become Hindus, but they love chanting. They say it has a neuro-linguistic impact on their system and they like it. So, on one thing, the opposition to these things are really, it's not an intelligent, it's not a wise thing to do. The second thing is imposition is also, I would not be on the part of trying to impose something on people on these issues. It could be a voluntary thing for them as well.
Navika Kumar, my colleague.
Shri, I have a question for you, and this question comes from my son and many children of his age, in the age group of 16, 17, the young people who are growing up. They often ask this question, do we believe in God out of fear कि हमको ये हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा, अगर हम भगवान से डरेंगे नहीं? How do we inculcate and take out this fear and inculcate religion or belief and faith in our younger generation, not out of fear, but out of sheer faith?
Yeah, this is a very valid question. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, lack of faith in God induces fear. When they know there is no other power, there is nobody else you can look up to, there is no one else to support you, when this insecurity is there, atheists have biggest fear in them. Atheism brings fear, faith does not bring in fear. So the faith in, there is someone to support me, there is some power which loves me, which is there for me in crisis, gives me an enormous strength from inside. That gives you self-confidence, it gives you all impotence to go and take challenges, you know. Contrary to the thinking God is only fearful God, fear God, we never said that. This is an Oriental and Occidental difference. In the Occident, they have said, you fear God, God-fearing man. We never use that word God-fearing in Occident. In Orient, we have always said God-loving. So here bhakti or love is for God. That is, you be grateful for this beautiful creation that has come to you. You can ask your son, look, I'm going to give you something. Are you thankful for what I have given you? He would say, yeah, I am. Don't you expect thanks from someone else when you give something to them? He would say, yes, I like them to thank me. In the same way, don't you thank God for giving this beautiful world for us? So the devotion to God should arise out of thankfulness and to draw confidence in one's own self rather than to be afraid of God.
Gentleman here in the suit and the tie. Yes, please stand up, sir. Yes. Just behind you. Yes.
Guruji, you have tried at the national level to resolve Babri Masjid issue for the satisfaction of all sections of society. In Karnataka, when the present government tried to divide the religion, and 17% of Hindus were given a separate status, you are one of the prominent stakeholders of Hinduism in a very secular way or in a very broad, general way. Why, except Pejawar Swamiji, no other Swamiji other than Lingayats or Veerashaivas did not prevent this or advise the government that this is not a right thing, and that too you are doing for what you said, for the benefits of some kind of economic or some kind of monetary benefits for the educational exploitation that is taking place in Karnataka.
I have already made it clear, politicians look for bunch of people where they can go and take the votes. And it is easy for them, caste or religion. These are all easy platforms to get their point conveyed to them or get their support. As I said, I'm not going to enter into this issue at all. But I would say, if no benefits are given, would they want to be separate from it? I'm sure the answer is no. Or if the benefits are given without the tag of minority, would that be acceptable? These are the questions you have to ask those people who are fighting for a separate religion. See, in this country, everybody has the right to demand what they want. If all the Swamis of Lingayat community they are demanding certain things for them, certain benefits or certain justice for their community, they have all the right to do it. And it's up to the politicians to take it.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Sri Sriji, the Hindu Dharma, we Indians gave message of peace and values of brotherhood, equality to the world thousands of years before Krista. And when you see the society, the present society, so divided and so violent, so where we went wrong?
How did you come to a conclusion that our society is very violent?
No, violence
It is
there.
not. If you see in comparison with today's climate world over, it's terrible in other places. You see in USA, you see in Guatemala, you see in El Salvador, you see in Colombia, the crime rate in these places skyrocket. And when you compare to all these places, I touch wood, we are in a very, very good place. India is far better as far as ahimsa is concerned, non-violence is concerned. Yes, when we compare ourselves to what we were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, today we have deteriorated. No doubt. No doubt violence has erupted the way which it should not have. For that, I think stress one thing and lack of value-based education. We lack this. We have created human beings with lot of information, but we have not infused values in them.
System.
I find this is a major cause, number one. Second is stress takes a big toll on our population that makes people move towards violence. Third is liquor. We are working in Tihar jail with the victims. When we made a survey of people who committed violence against women, we found out nearly 95%, 95.6% of the attacks which has happened on women are under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So these are the issues, and that is why, a state like Bihar, to bring prohibition with women force ahead of it, says it all. Since the prohibition has come, you will see the violence has reduced. So these are the things that we need to attend in our society. Politics is not everything. There is a civil society that has to take responsibility and move the values in the society, I feel, and religious and spiritual leaders also have a big role to play here.
My colleague Anupam has a question for you.
Guruji, you mentioned Tihar. Of late, recently, we have seen so many gurus whom, people give up their lively earnings to follow them. They believed in them. And then suddenly finding them in Tihar, after the due process of law was followed. Where does it leave the belief system in spiritual gurus for us, for people like me?
When you buy a bunch of apples, there could be always one or two rotten apples in them. But don't tag everyone as a rotten apple. When you go to doctors, there are one or two doctors in this large country who have stolen kidneys. But people don't stop going to doctors because of the fear of someone stealing the kidneys. This is nothing new. Krishna Deva Raja's, our Vijayanagara empire, was destroyed in the garb of 5 sadhus. You know this history.
Yeah.
From Ramayana time it has come. If Ravan had come in his original form, he could not have abducted Sita. He came in a sadhu form and misused the faith in sadhus that people had in those days, in Ramayana time, 7,000 years ago. But there were many other rishis, Vasishta, Vishwamitra, Bharadwaja, they were all there. But this one Ravan also came as a sadhu. So, among the 1 lakh and odd swamis and sadhus and sants and mahatmas in this country, 2, 3, 4 have done blunders and mistakes, have done criminal activities. You cannot brush everyone with the same paint. We should not generalize this one.
Well, Sri Ravi Shankar, I have a question which is a little more personal in terms of how do we practice Hinduism today? Because I have a lot of people in my family who turn around and say, let's just do away with rituals that have no meaning. So how do I differentiate between why I'm doing something, whether I should do something, or should I stop doing something?
See, here the Hinduism gives you full choice. It gives you freedom of worship the way you want to worship. Like Akka Mahadevi has said, Usirina kampiralu, kusumada hange kaya. When my breath itself is so fragrant, why would I pluck a flower and offer to you, my dear Shiva? She has sung like that. So Hinduism gives you a vast arena of worship, forms of worship. Whether you do Kanika Puja, you bring a small child and make her sit and give her offerings, it's at Kanya Puja. And you worship the tree, plant trees, 5 of the big trees you plant. That is also one Mahotsav, one Puja. You worship Ganga, you worship Kaveri. Here we go and worship Kaveri. Unfortunately, we put things which should not be put in the Kaveri. Worshipping Kaveri means honoring Kaveri. So as a Hindu, number one, we honor life. And we honor the entire creation, in which trees and animals and nature, everything is included. The rivers are included. Ganga Puja, Ganga Bhavani Puja is a common thing in all the villages. Whenever a well is dug, the entire village goes and does puja, Ganga Puja. Any marriage in a house, they go and worship the rivers and water bodies. And today we need to protect our water bodies. This is all part of our dharma. Sanatana Dharma emphasizes on protecting environment, on caring for nature, caring for animals. Every animal is associated with a devata. Dog is associated with Kal Bhairav. Cow is associated with, of course, with all the devas. Like this, there is a great freedom of expressing your gratitude in Hindu religion. Number one. Second is Hindu yoga, of course, is one of the main thing that our ancient people have said. It's the best form of expressing your.
But the counter, sir, is that the science or the logic behind why something was done or why something was allowed to be practiced is lost. So what is happening is just blind following.
Correct.
So then people turn around and say, why should I do this? It doesn't make sense in today's day and age.
Right. That's why I said you don't need to do when your intellect does not let you do something. But before you renounce anything or discard anything, you should go thoroughly deep into it and study it. This I would urge people to do. Go a little bit deep. Now, like suppose just one example I would like to give you. Aarti. In Hinduism, I do Aarti. You may say, why you do Aarti? Here, Aarti is a symbol of our life. You light a lamp and you turn the candle upside down, the flame always goes up. So this is to symbolize, let my life revolve around you all the time, recognize you everywhere. This is the meaning of an Aarti. Like this, it's a mistake of our Pandits and our holders of our religion also. They have just kept the ritual and told people not to ask questions, blindly follow it.
Yes.
They should have given logical explanation and appealing answer to young people, and first of all know for themselves. We have never been irrational in any of our rituals. Our rituals are very rational. That has been given in scriptures. But of course, by Rudy, whatever people have done, they are all irrational things. So scriptural rituals, some of them they hold good even for today, not everyone, but some of them have very logical and scientific explanation. And so we have to always use our intellect, use our brain to take what is good and live it. Usually, in Hinduism is like a mixture of sand and sugar. Be like a Iruve, like an ant. Pick up the
sugar crystals.
Sugars.
Gentleman in the back in the hat.
Sir. Thank you.
Hello. I'm Narayankar from the Press Trust of India. Actually, I was waiting, I was dying to ask Mr. Prakash Raj this question. but I would like to ask Guruji. Guruji, people who believe religion cannot play a constructive role in politics must study how Mahatma Gandhi led India to win independence from the British rule with struggle that was founded on religion basis. Gandhi said, I quote, his mission was to win Swaraj, that is self-rule, which he envisioned and portrayed as Ram Rajya. So my question is, do you oppose this? Do you oppose this Mahatma Gandhi's slogan or whatever, or do you agree to it? I was about to ask Mr. Prakash Raj, but it was quite unfortunate.
I think anyone in good senses will not oppose this. There is nothing to oppose here. Righteousness, dharma, these are the core values on which we got our freedom. Mahatma Gandhi went city to city, village by village, conducted satsangs. You see, spirituality is that which unites people from all religion, and that's what Mahatma Gandhi took it up.
Right.
Sarva Dharma Sambhav. And then Mahatma Gandhi was never opposed to religion, and those countries which opposed to religion are getting back to religion again. Religion is a great motivating factor, but only it has to be given in the proper hands and motivated properly for proper thing, right things.
Sri Ji, we also have now coming into the arena the President of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Mr. Amit Shah. I request you to be with us for a few moments so you can welcome him also with us. Any moment now.
There is somebody.
The President of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Mr. Amit Shah, who is going to be also part of this dialogue, will be coming into the auditorium.
Right. We're going to wrap this session now.
Yes. Yes.
Big round of applause for Sri Ravi Shankar, sir. And Rao Shiv Shankar and Mr. Thibapa Bhatt. Fantastic, wonderful.